Okay. Do you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Good. So, Pàl, thanks a lot for being with us. Thank you from all the Italian pilots. A lot of congratulations for sure for the amazing job you have done. Really.
Thank you, Rinaldo.
Really good.
Thank you. It was a good race.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Paul, I have prepared a few questions for you, and I will start to translate first in Italian for the people and then as to you. So, quindi gli chiediamo all'inizio di come è partita la gara. So, how was your start at the racing? I remember you were the first one to go.
Yes, it was a very exciting moment. I was among the first ones to reach the takeoff, and I was hurrying to prepare to take off because we knew that the weather was going to be getting worse. And right at that moment, the sun was shining. And I never planned to fly away from the mountain as first, but I climbed up and some more people were already around me, and we reached cloud base, which was really low at that moment. And I was sure that we're gonna start flying the route. And so I started this glide, and I was surprised to see that no one else is coming. And it was a very difficult moment because I was thinking, should I go back or go alone? But it was obvious that I am alone. And then, well, I decided to just continue, and it was risky because I was getting low. It was a very long glide to cross this valley. But in the previous days before the race, I already flew this one mountain on the other side, and it was always working. So I went and it worked out well. And I was basically flying all by myself to the first turn point where I arrived as the first pilot.
Yeah, quindi gli ho chiesto, si è interrotto un attimo, gli ho chiesto come, quando è partito da solo, no? E lui mi ha detto sì, effettivamente sono arrivato tra i primi al decollo, sono decollato subito, poi immediatamente ho visto che funzionava bene, sono arrivato in base, c'era già qualcun altro intorno a me e allora sono partito. Quando sono partito mi sono reso conto che ero solo e quindi ho avuto il dubbio, torno indietro, vado avanti, però nei giorni del prologo, i giorni prima della partenza, aveva già provato questa montagna e quindi sapeva che lì funzionava e allora è arrivato praticamente primo da solo alla prima boa. Really fantastic, yes, absolutely. Right. So, what about what happened at the Mont Blanc? There you were not lucky, eh? Quindi dici un po' di cosa è successo al Monte Bianco. Lì invece la fortuna non era dalla sua parte.
Yeah, at the Mont Blanc it was a very difficult section because we had an airspace that was very like in the middle of the way, and we didn't have the conditions to fly around it. Plus, there was a very strong wind entering to the valley of Chamonix, and it was even begin to rain, and we had to cross the valley to go around this airspace. And basically there I fell a little bit back from Kriegel and Maxim, and I had to climb up before following them. And then I saw them going for the Brevon, which is the very common flying site there over Chamonix. And I saw Kriegel and Maxim getting into a crazy sink, like, I don't know, 6-7 meters per second, maybe more. They were falling down, and we still had good altitude at that moment. And I was thinking, okay, we have to cross back to the side that we came from because we already went around the airspace. And it looked like, yeah, I was really thinking that they will not be able to climb there. So I basically cut the corner and started to cross back. And just as I was doing that, I saw them find something very, very turbulent. It was a strong, like, lee thermal. And finally, they made some altitude, which I missed. And they come to the same place where I wanted to arrive on the opposite side, but just a little bit higher. Even they arrived really low, but they managed to soar up and continue the flight. So that was a pretty unfortunate moment. but I got really lucky that evening because I did a very late flight and I was able to reach the next turn point at the Petit San Bernard Pass and land there.
Right. Quindi ci ha spiegato un po' che il problema è stato gli airspace che comunque erano proprio nel mezzo del loro percorso. A un certo punto lui si è trovato dietro Maxime e Maurer, li vedeva più avanti a lui, proprio nel punto dove voleva andare, però vedeva che precipitavano proprio a -6, -7 metri al secondo, anche forse di più. E a questo punto lui ha deciso di tornare indietro per non rischiare. Loro invece sono riusciti poi in un'area molto molto turbolenta a trovare un po' di termica, sono saliti e sono arrivati sul punto dove lui era con un pochino più di quota. Questo gli ha permesso di andare via. Lui comunque è stato fortunato perché la sera è riuscito comunque a fare un volo e ad arrivare comunque al colle del piccolo San Bernardo. Wow, what a landscape, eh? Bello, bellissimo. Sì, sì. And then, Pal, tell us something about the flying condition in Valtellina, in Sondrio, or when you reached all the valley with the north wind quite strong.
Yes, so leaving from Dufour-Spitze and Macugnaga, the guys continued to follow the route of Kriegel, which was going even more to the north. And at that moment, I look at the shadow of the clouds on the ground, and they were showing a very strong north wind. And I was thinking, this is not good to go more to the north because usually it will get even stronger, or at high mountains and a lot of wind to fight and a lot of turbulent thermal. So I decided to go for the option through Locarno area and the lakes, and that was working really, really well. The only thing that at the end of that flight, I missed the conditions after a Maggiore lake. There was a shadow and some rain that stopped the conditions there, because otherwise I would have been able to continue for another maybe 20-30 kilometers that day. And I knew that the next day will be even more windy, so I was thinking it's good to be on the south because you always get the southern inflow from the pole flats, and I was hoping that I will be protected by the winds, but in fact the north wind was so strong that I think it was probably even Föhn, and I never ever find south winds, and it was a very crazy flight where you were soaring on the north side and then try to catch thermal on the south side, and also like every little pass the north wind blew through really with a lot of strength, and there was a lot of sink, and one time I had to land and walk over the next pass. It was very, very difficult, and in the end actually around Sondrio, I think I even had to cross back to the north side of the mountain, because originally I was thinking I will take Adamello group from the south, but it was just too much wind and the cloud base was really high, so I had to come back to the north side and basically follow the route of the others to the Dolomiti di Brenta.
Right. Quindi gli ho chiesto della scelta che lui ha fatto in Valtellina, quando l'abbiamo visto che è andato molto a sud. Effettivamente lui ha visto che c'era molto vento da nord e ha pensato che di scendere un po' più a sud e fare un po' il contrario di quello che facevano un po' tutti, per cercare di trovare delle condizioni invece dove il vento da sud avrebbe mitigato questo nord che entrava. In realtà ha detto il sud non l'ha mai trovato, quindi era nella condizione di fare termica sul lato sud della montagna e poi stare invece a nord per fare un po' di dinamica. Addirittura ha dovuto atterrare e passare un passo a piedi perché era impossibile farlo in volo a causa del vento molto forte, tant'è che poi a un certo punto pensava di fare l'Adamello da sud, ma poi si è reso conto che sarebbe stato impossibile col vento da nord così forte, ha dovuto tornare in Valtellina e lì ha perso un pochino di strada. Good.
Maybe one more note, like on the day of the crossing the lakes, I indeed then I found the south wind at some point, and that was a very nice feeling, because that was my plan, and it worked out. So first I was going on the north faces, and then at some point I found the south wind, and it was a very big relief, and finally having normal flying conditions. And that was my plan to hopefully get the same kind of weather on the next day, but it didn't work as planned.
Sì, quindi ecco, ho voluto fare una precisazione, dire ogni tanto un pochino di sud, di vento da sud lo trovava, però non molto. Quando lo trovava era contento di aver fatto questa scelta, e quindi diciamo era anche sollevato dal fatto di aver preso questa decisione, però comunque sia ne ha trovato poco la maggior parte, e sapeva che il giorno dopo sarebbe stato ancora vento da nord molto forte. Quindi yes, I was just going to ask you this about the condition, the weather condition with north wind. Normally, normal pilots like me, low-level pilots, let's say Saturday and Sunday pilots, when we have north wind, we don't fly, we don't go. Yeah. So tell us something more about what happened to the wing when you have this very strong north wind.
Yeah, so especially then in the Dolomites, that was again another day with a lot of north wind. That was, I think it's safe to say that it was the most fearful flight of my life, because now we were not only flying lee side and strong turbulences, but we were also in this very unforgiving terrain of the Dolomites with the rocks everywhere. And actually that day really I was questioning myself if it's really worth even trying, because it was very dangerous and crossing the limits for us, I think, for all of us. And luckily I did not have a problem, but I definitely had some very intense moments, and I learned a lot about the movement of the air and the turbulences, because exactly, okay, the wind is coming from here and it goes over these steep mountains, and then you have this crazy movement in the air, and at the same time the side, or the sunny side, the thermals are working, and that it must have been a very good gradient that day, because the thermals were actually very strong as well. And I learned a lot how the thermals create these protected bubbles of air pockets, where you feel like you are flying normally, but at the same time you just reach a certain altitude, and then the horror starts. And luckily my glider is really nice and very stable, and it was possible to keep it open, but I had a couple of collapses and a lot of moments of swearing and praying and focused. The problem was that it was already, I think, the fifth or the fifth day, I think, and obviously everybody is getting tired. And this day I already realized, like, after the second thermal I got flushed down and I almost bombed out, and then I find this very weak thermal, and I'm just patiently climbing this 0.5, and as I'm doing it on the north side of a mountain, and I'm kind of like falling asleep, like I'm very tired, and one moment you're falling asleep, but you know that in the next moment you are going into war again, into the lee side, and actually the adrenaline and this fight or flight reaction, it really wakes you up and puts you back into this focus mindset, because obviously it's a very risky
situation,
condition to fly in, and I totally agree with you. Like nobody with little experience should fly. And actually I was accompanied by some free flyers from the mountain above Cavallese, and one of the guys threw reserve going towards the second thermal, and he lost control, and luckily he landed okay, but that was how my day started with this experience.
I translate. Quindi partiamo subito da quest'ultima cosa che ha appena detto, cioè addirittura appena partiti, lui era con dei ragazzi di Cavallese che gli davano un po' qualche indicazione e uno di questi ha fatto subito emergenza. Quindi ho chiesto prima a Pàl cosa vuol dire volare con questo vento così forte da nord. Lui diceva in particolare nel Dolomiti, con delle condizioni così estreme, con un territorio così estremo, rocce dappertutto, montagne molto alte. Quindi è stata anche un'esperienza istruttiva per fargli capire come si comportano, come certe volte delle termiche creano quasi delle bolle di aria calma, che poi però a un certo punto finisce e lì di nuovo comincia una battaglia con la vela per tenerla aperta. Quindi ci sono state condizioni veramente che devono essere assolutamente sconsigliate a chi non è più che un pilota professionista, e infatti questo è un messaggio importante che deve passare. Cioè, abbiamo visto in questi giorni fare delle cose incredibili a questi piloti, però non deve diventare la normalità. Thanks for this, for saying this also to the pilots, because somebody maybe now they see you, all the pack going through in this way, and the next time the north wind comes, they say, okay, I go also. But no, we must be clear that it's something not to do.
Yes, so of course this is a demonstration of what is possible with a paraglider in the hands of a good pilot, but it's not a good example to follow. And really, I think all of us were having trouble going through these sections for sure.
Quindi, cioè, praticamente questo fa capire cosa un parapendio può fare nelle mani di un grande pilota, però non deve essere assolutamente un'incitazione per
in Valtellini, I saw some glider pilots flying really high and really fast, and I was very jealous. I wanted to be in a glider that day, and I think when they saw us flying our paragliders, they were thinking these guys must be stupid and out of their minds.
Yeah. Diceva che in Valtellina ha visto degli alianti volargli sopra molto alti, molto veloci, e diceva pensa che questi piloti avranno visto loro in parapendio e abbiano detto ma questi sono matti a volare con dei parapendio con queste condizioni. Yes, for sure. Pàl, how was the composition of your team, and how did it work?
Yeah, so I had my wife in the team, Monica.
Hi, Monica.
Hi.
And I had a really good friend, flatmate, Chris, and a sports mental trainer, and a very, very good friend. She's like a sister of mine. And I had Michael Sommerauer, who is a very good cross-country and World Cup pilot, who is a very calm personality, and I felt like he is a very nice addition to the team because he is a good decision maker in the air. He is a pilot that he takes his own lines. He doesn't necessarily just follow the crowd, and so he did a really good job in helping me, avoiding airspaces and making decisions where to hike up, and then we had Matthias Helm, who is from Munich, Germany, and he actually came to the team at a very short notice because we had a cancellation from a mountain guide who was going to be my Sherpa to carry equipment. And he's working in logistics. He's also doing some border race and Eiger tour, some hike and fly competitions. So in the end, it turned out really perfect, and we had a very good atmosphere in the team, and we were laughing a lot and joking a lot, which I think for me and for everybody was an important part. And the only thing that we were missing a little bit is somebody like a mountain goat, like a real ultra marathon or marathon runner, or somebody who is really able to hike multiple mountains per day in my speed, because although both Matthias and Somi are really, really strong. And if you looked at most of the other teams' composition, you always saw, and indeed in some teams you only saw these type of people, you know, these really athletic, really fast hiking, mountain people. Get that off, because yeah, this is unfortunately a very important part of the race these days, because we have to hike up many mountains, and every kilo that you have to carry by yourself, you know, it adds up over 1 week or 10 days of the race. And so we always try to just carry the minimum equipment if possible, and then the clothes and the instruments and the water and so on. That it's always nice if someone else can bring it to the takeoff, and then of course it's nice if somebody can help to prepare the equipment and get ready fast as possible to launch.
Yes, sure. And they know the mountain and they know what they're doing. Quindi il suo team ha lavorato molto bene. Ha detto, so if I well understood, in total you were 6, correct?
No, 4 supporters and me.
Ok, sorry. Quindi in totale erano 4 supporter e lui, tra le quali sua moglie, poi un pilota che seguiva la strategia, una guida alpina. Diceva quello che sente che è mancato un po' è il fatto che avrebbe preferito avere ancora una guida alpina capace di camminare e di tenere su, quindi un maratoneta, diciamo, di montagna, capace di affrontare dei percorsi alla sua stessa velocità, portando un po' di equipaggiamento, perché comunque dovendo camminare così tanto, così velocemente, anche solo gli strumenti, l'acqua e così via, se vengono portati da qualcun altro, una grande differenza. Una grande differenza. So Pal, last question. What is your next goal? What are you going to do now? Quindi Pal, cosa farai adesso? Qual è la tua prossima avventura?
Good question. Actually, before the X-Alps, I was so focused on this project that I didn't want to make plans ahead, because I first wanted to see how I'm coming out of this challenge, and luckily I'm in good shape and healthy. So so now it's time to plan the next things. But actually, I already know that one of my friends and one of the supporters of Paul Guschelbauer, he invited me for a nice adventure, but I don't know if it's public. I think I can tell it. He would like to hike and fly all the volcanoes in Italy and sail from one to the other. So we are hoping to do this in July, and wow, that would be a nice adventure. I never been to that part of Italy, so I would like to see it.
So you go to Sicily, you mean?
Yes.
Sicily,
so I think there are seven volcanoes, no, big ones.
Yes.
Yeah, so visit all of them on a boat.
Wow, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. You will go to the island of Vulcano, which is just on the top of Sicily, on the east coast, over Catania. Absolutely fantastic. It's a magic place, believe me. I was there too, really fantastic. Yeah.
I'm looking forward.
Quindi, il suo prossimo, adesso era molto concentrato sull'X-Alps, chiaramente. Ha fatto questa, l'ha finita in buone condizioni e quindi adesso, diciamo, sta pensando a cosa fare in futuro. Un amico l'ha invitato a fare un giro dei vulcani del sud Italia, e in barca voleranno, faranno un po' questo, e quindi questo potrebbe essere un suo prossimo progetto e poi si vedrà. Ok, Pal, so really thanks a lot for being with us. Sorry, let me ask you just one more quick question. Which is the one, let's say, the spot that you like it most? Which is if you close your eyes and you look something, what you see of all the route?
Of the route?
Yes.
I have to think for a moment. You know, it was difficult because we were going at such a high speed that, you know, every time we look in front of the computer and study the route, we took at least 2 to 3 hours to arrive from goal to finish. But I think, the Mont Blanc area, going around the Mont Blanc was definitely a big highlight, especially because I didn't know most of the areas except Chamonix. So there was some discoveries to be made. And, but, we passed by many beautiful locations. So
yeah,
the whole race was a very nice experience, except those days with the north wind.
With the north wind, yeah. Yes. Quindi gli ho chiesto se chiude gli occhi, qual è il ricordo più bello che ha della gara, e dice tutto bellissimo, gli è piaciuto tantissimo passare il Monte Bianco perché conosceva la zona di Chamonix ma non così bene tutto il resto, e poi invece dice la parte un po' più brutta è quando sono stati trovati, sono trovati a dover combattere questo bruttissimo vento da nord. Bene. Okay, Pàl, thanks very much. Okay,
thank you very much.
And we'll go on with this recorded interview tonight. It will stay on YouTube on the Italian Federation channel.
Okay, nice. Thank you.
Pàl,
Thank you
thanks
for
a
the
lot.
invitation.
Thanks very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.